Right, before we go further, we'll be talking about adoption for non-Muslims, something that you can actually maybe learn, Erin, and something that I can learn as well, and for those who are at home also. So let's have Miss FATIN Nur ATHIRAH ZAINUDDIN from the State Director from the Legal Aid Department of Negeri Sembilan into the studio, and let's have a seat with Miss FATIN.
Yes, hello, Miss FATIN. Please join us. I think maybe we could.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right, Miss FATIN, how are you doing today?
Yeah,
nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Thank you so much for coming in this lovely morning today here at Fresh Brew. Of course, we do want to ask adoption, right? For non-Muslim is something that I guess people should also consider. I mean, I don't think Muslim or non-Muslim actually plays much of a role in this. I guess adoption is something that you should consider, not just like whether you can or cannot bear kids, but you know, if you love kids, I would say, not even kids, if you love kids, teenagers, people you want to help out, I think that's also one avenue that you can possibly explore. So I do want to ask Ms. FATIN, I do want to ask you, like, how do one apply for adoption? Like, how's the process like in Peninsular Malaysia?
Okay, essentially in Peninsular Malaysia, there are two ways one can file for adoption. The first one is via an application made to the court under the Adoption Act 1952. And secondly is an application made to the National Registration Department of Malaysia, in which we also know it as de facto adoption. This is under the Adoption Registration Act 1952. So there are two ways, basically.
All right, so you mentioned the Adoption Act 1952.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, who are eligible to apply for adoption registration under this act?
Okay, under this act, it is only eligible to non-Muslim. Adoption Act 1952. But if it is under the Adoption Registration Act 1952, these apply both to Muslim and non-Muslim. Yes.
Okay.
I see. I guess in terms of that, right, does this Adoption Act that you mentioned actually has like a set age limit for the children, and also the age limit, I would say, for the parents who are looking to adopt?
Okay. For the adopted child, for the adoptive parents, they must be at least 25 years old.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
But at the same time, the age gap between the child and also the adoptive parents must be at least 21 years of age. For instance, one 25 years old adult can adopt a 4 years old child.
Okay.
Okay. But this also includes married but divorced daughters.
Right.
Meaning that one 20 years old girl can be adopted as well under this act. This is very interesting.
Oh, but the age gap that you mentioned has to be set. Like if you're a 20 years old girl that's being adopted, the parents have
Must
to be older.
Older than 21. At least 41 years old. Yeah.
Oh.
And there are also instances where some parents, they take in, they adopt a child, but it sometimes takes some time for them to register the child actually as one of their adopted children. Maybe it could come down to various factors. So I would like to ask, like, how long does it take for the adoptive mother or father, the period of them taking care of the children, how long does that take before they can apply for adoption in court? And what documents do they require?
Okay. For under the Adoption Act 1952, they only need to care for the child for only 3 months.
Oh, that's not too long actually.
Yeah. By court order, you only need 3 months. But if it is an application made through the National Registration Department, you need 2 years. You need to care for the child for at least 2 years. So this is difference.
Oh, I see. Okay. So what is like the effect of the adoption? Because I guess what we're talking about roughly right now is the adoption process of it, like what you asked as well. So what is the effect of the adoption after and also like under the Act?
Okay. Under the Act, once a child is being adopted by the parents, by the adoptive parents, they will have the status as if he is the biological child of the adoptive parents. These include the rights to inherit property, either from the estate of the deceased child or the estate of the deceased adoptive parents. Apart from that, this will totally sever the family relationship of the child and their actual biological family. because this right has been transferred to the adoptive parents.
Right.
Okay. Apart from that, the most important part is that adoption does not grant automatic citizenship to the adoptive child.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Citizenship is another different altogether.
Yes. Another different law. They still need to apply to the National Registration Department for the purpose of citizenship.
Right.
Yes.
I see. Just to understand, so the Adoption Act that you brought up earlier,
Yeah.
is it only to govern the, I would say, children in Malaysia, like orphans in Malaysia? Is it only in Malaysia? So if, like, I guess I would ask, is the process of adopting a child probably from another country would be different, or is it governed under the Act as well?
Okay. For those foreign child, it will be different. This is only applicable in Peninsula of Malaysia. So they need to care for the child in Peninsula Malaysia. If you want to adopt someone from overseas, it's fine. But then it will not grant you citizenship. You still need to care for the child at least 3 months and etc. Besides, there are several documents that need to be submitted for this process.
Right.
The first one is the birth certificate of the child.
Right.
But when the child was born without the certificate, it will be different. Then you'll have to submit the late registration application made to the National Registration Department with the application made to the court under this Act for the purpose of adoption. Yes.
So there are different cases as
Yeah.
well. So let's say that I am a non-Muslim and then I want to adopt a child.
Yeah.
You know, I do have a wife of my own. We can't conceive children and we want to adopt.
Yeah.
So what would the process be from the start to the end? If you can just illustrate that to us.
Okay.
Because there might be some people who are watching
Yeah.
and they may want to get to know the process. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, you need to care for the child for at least under the Adoption Act 1952 via the court order. Okay, you need to care for the child for at least 3 months.
3 months.
Then once the 3 months has due, you can start submitting by filing an application to the court. In the application, you must submit the birth cert of the child, or if they don't have the birth cert, you have to submit the application registration, late application for the birth of the child as well, to substitute the birth cert. So the court will then take into consideration all the factors, whether the mother is actually suitable, eligible to care for the child. So hence, then it comes.
Okay, that's really interesting, because
Yeah.
these are certainly certain things that people don't often think about.
Yeah.
And also, there are certain times where people don't know where to start as well.
Yeah.
When it comes to like adopting, you know,
Yeah.
maybe, you know, like you mentioned, in instances where you couldn't conceive a child. So maybe you look for adoption, you love kids, you know, or maybe even you're looking to adopt. So certain times, oftentimes people actually don't know the processes and actually how lengthy processes can be. So thank you so much for actually sharing that
Yeah.
portion, because I also was really unclear about that part. But just really quickly as well, how can people perhaps get more information if they want to ask anything from you?
Okay, basically I'm from the Legal Aid Department of Malaysia, specifically in Negeri Sembilan. If any person wish to get an opinion, legal opinion with regards to any legal issues, actually you can come to our office. There are 22 offices throughout Malaysia, one in Negeri Sembilan as well. We have the HQ in Putrajaya, and just give us a call. You can Google us from our website, Legal Aid Department of Malaysia. Yes.
Alright. Since she's from Negeri Sembilan, she only mentioned Negeri Sembilan.
Yes.
There are also offices in Kuala Lumpur, Fatin. Excuse me. But we really appreciate your time sharing us on information on how can non-Muslims adopt children here in Malaysia, in Semenanjung Malaysia, actually, Peninsula Malaysia. So we thank you for your time, Ms.
Yeah,
Fatin,
much. Thank you.
who is the State Director of the Legal Aid Department from Negeri Sembilan. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
Ms.
much.